Hi guys, I'm Samina and today on the Cupcake Confession, I'll show you how to make peanut butter and jelly cookies. Yay! Now I love making cookies, and if you have seen most of my cookie videos, you may have guessed by now, I love cookies that have surprise centers. I mean, can you imagine you serve these to your friends or your loved ones or your family and they just take a bite assuming that it's just a normal peanut butter cookie. They bite into it and then they pull away from that cookie and there is this gorgeous surprise of beautiful strawberry jam right in the center, adding a complete new dimension to your cookie. Yes, now that is what an amazing cookie is. I'm going to show you how you make these cookies. Here you go. Start by mixing your dry ingredients together. So you have all-purpose flour and baking soda. If you're using unsalted butter, you can also add a bit of salt in this mix. Sift it together, give it a good whisk so all of the ingredients are well combined, and you're just going to then keep this aside and you're going to start working on making your actual cookie dough. So to make your cookie dough, you're going to take your softened salted butter. You can use unsalted, but if you're using unsalted, add salt to your dry mix. Give it a good mix for a couple of minutes till the butter goes really smooth and pale and nice looking. It doesn't have to be light and aerated at this point because we're going to add the sugars. It just needs to be softened so it's easy to combine the sugars into it. Here I have some light brown sugar and I'm also going to add some caster sugar. And now I'm going to give it a good mix for about 3 to 4 minutes till it goes pale and fluffy. In between this time, I'm also going to use my spatula to go around the sides of the bowl to scrape the sides, of course, to make sure that all the ingredients combine well together and that we don't have stray bits of butter or stray bits of sugar lurking in the bottom. So we're going to give it a good mix again for the next minute or so. And once that has happened, we're now going to add our peanut butter. So here I have smooth peanut butter. I don't like to use crunchy in this because you will find it a little difficult to mix it together. You can add a bit of peanuts in the end if that's what you like, instead of like chocolate chips basically, but peanuts. So right now we're going to add some smooth peanut butter and give it a good mix again. Scrape the sides of the bowl just to make sure that all the ingredients are combined beautifully together. When this has happened, I'm then going to add the eggs one at a time, mixing really well between each addition because you don't want to overwhelm the batter with too many eggs in one go. It will become a soupy mess. Once that is mixed well, I'm going to add the second egg, give it a good mix. Then I'm going to add my vanilla extract. So this adds a nice rich deep flavor in addition to the peanut butter, and these flavors really go well together. So you can add a bit of vanilla here. I like to add vanilla and I'm going to give it a good mix. Now it's time for me to add all of those beautiful dry ingredients that we had sifted earlier. So I'm going to add all of it in one go, and then on a very, very slow speed, I'm just going to mix it till it comes together. I do not want to over mix this dough because that will just develop the gluten. You don't want a tough cookie. You want a nice crisp on the outside, chewy in the middle cookie. This one will be chewy because there is jam surprise in the middle, so it makes the cookie really nice and moist. Give it a good scrape through again because you don't want stray bits of flour around the sides unmixed because that's not good. Once that's done, you're going to take a cookie scoop and scoop out your dough onto a baking sheet. At this point, you will then have to refrigerate it because you want the dough to be firm, a little slightly firmer. So you're just going to refrigerate this for say 2 hours or so. You can even do it overnight and use it the next day. Now it's time to add the jelly surprise. So I'm just massaging some strawberry jam in my piping bag just so it's smooth when I'm piping it and of piping consistency basically. So now once I have that ready, it's time to flatten out the dough balls. Now it doesn't matter how long you've left it in the fridge, the dough itself is pretty tacky, so you will have to dip your fingers in flour while you are making this. So I like to dip my fingers between each flattening session, so that helps keep my dough really nice and smooth and doesn't let anything stick to my fingers. Once you have sufficiently flattened out the dough, it's time to pipe your jam. So I like to use about a teaspoon of the jam from my piping bag into the center of the cookie dough. So I'm going to do that for all the 6 cookies. You get about 20 cookies in this recipe, so that's really generous and it's really delicious as well. So I'm just going to pick up the sides of this cookie. Now, as I said, it's a bit sticky, but my cookie sheet is non-stick, so I don't have to worry about this. So while the dough is chilling, I also like to preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 170 degrees Celsius. I'm just going to roll it between my palms, make a nice little ball. So it's really nothing but flattened cookie dough, and there's jam in the center. So when your cookie bakes, these cookies will spread out. So when the cookie bakes, it spreads out and there's a delicious jam surprise in the center. So now I'm on to my final cookie. It takes a bit of time. The dough is tacky, but it's not sticky. So these will now go into the oven for about, I'd say, 10 to 12 minutes. The sides should be golden brown. The center should still be chewy. So once that's happened, you know it's ready. You're then going to let it cool completely for say about half an hour, and then leave it on a wire rack to cool completely before you bite into these cookies, because the texture changes as it cools. Do you see how beautiful that is? Now that's just the exterior. It's time for me to show you what this cookie looks like on the inside. So when you break into it, you see that delicious, moist, delicious fruity strawberry jam. Dip it into your favorite milk, tea, coffee and have it. That's it, guys. Did you see how easy that was to make? So if you have made these peanut butter and jelly cookies, don't forget to post the photo on Instagram and tag me at the Cupcake Confession using the hashtag the Cupcake Confession. I will be very happy to see what you come up with, and if you have any comments or suggestions, pop them down in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you like this recipe, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And while you do that, don't forget to click on the bell button, because that will notify you every time I post a new recipe, which by the way is every Tuesday and Thursdays. So until I see you again next time, bye.